What's up, everyone? How are we all? It's your boy Fatboy Side back here again for a sort of like a review of all the Premier League games. Well, the second set of Premier League games. Um, so yeah, some interesting scores, some not so interesting scores, and obviously one or two surprises. Probably a couple of sort of standout performances, which I will get into at the end of my review. So let's get straight into it. So the half-12 kickoff on Saturday, what am I going on about, was Liverpool v Burnley. It finished 2-0 to Liverpool. So Liverpool still sort of, well, carrying on where they left off last week. Still looking pretty good. Obviously, Jota, I think was on the scorecard again. So looking good as always, and like I say, seems to be sort of like the I don't know, sort of striker now, I suppose. He sort of seems to be the sort of the man to sort of probably replace with Firmino, I suppose, because Firmino is sort of not banging the goals in. Jota seems to be doing the job, but a comfortable win for Liverpool, and so good job done, well done there. That's obviously because Burnley usually sort of been sort of their jinx team over like the last year or two. Burnley tend to sort of throw this surprise of like a win and stuff like that. So good for them. So getting into the 3 o'clock kickoffs, there weren't many. There was only 4 of them. Aston Villa Newcastle was the first one. Well, on the fixture list anyway. And Aston Villa come out with a nice, comfortable 2-0 victory. Probably, like I say, there was apparently a great goal from Danny Ings, a bicycle kick. So Villa sort of responding after sort of last week's, I suppose, if you want to call it a little bit of a shock after losing to Watford, I think it was. But looking good. So looking back to winning ways, and sort of hopefully we'll be sort of trying to climb the table now with, I think that, there's one more game to go, I think, before the internationals come round again. So go into the next game, which was a pretty dull game from what I heard. Crystal Palace and Brentford. It was a 0-0. So Brentford, like I say, sort of obviously after sort of their last week's sort of, I suppose, performance against Arsenal. And they've started off really well. So fair play to them. And they've done well. 2 games in, 4 points on the board. Early days yet to see what's going to happen, because the game, well, at the end of the day, the Premier League's based over 38 games, so we shall sort of see. What happens, really. But looking good, looking very good. So as the manager for Brentford will be very chuffed with the first 2 games so far. So going into the other 3 o'clock kickoff, we got Leeds United v Everton. A very entertaining game, as always is with Leeds United. Never a dull moment when Leeds United are around. Always attack, counter-attack and all that. And yeah, so looking great. And if the game finished 2-2, fantastic game. Like I said, again, from what I've heard and sort of seen, very, very good. Very, very good. A former Leicester player, obviously being a Leicester City fan. Demarai Gray on the score sheet for Everton. A lot of Leicester City fans have given flack and stuff, obviously, because obviously he didn't sort of give you 100% in. I just don't think, there was talent in there, but I just don't think, he's just wasn't good enough for Leicester City, but obviously, coming up later on, obviously, I wish we sort of had him still. Anyway, so let's crack on with the next game. So the not a sort of surprise, I suppose, in the other 3 o'clock kickoff was Manchester City v Norwich. No disrespect to Norwich, I said they will struggle this year, and I'm proven to sort of be right. Yes, I know they had Liverpool, and now they've got Manchester City, which they're sort of, I'm not being funny, they're sort of the games where they're not really going to pick anything up at all. It's more the game sort of like, against like, sort of the other 2 teams that have come up, they're sort of more with them sort of thing, like Brentford and that. So yeah, and I'll just check something very quickly, and obviously Watford as well. So, but anyway, so that is that. So, and obviously Manchester City come out 5-0 winners. obviously Jack Grealish got on the score sheet. And they're looking good. They're looking good. Looking strong. I think the next Premier League game for Manchester City is against Arsenal. So, oh, good God for Arsenal. I mean, talk about stinking fixtures. They've had some right stinkers. Anyway, there we go. So the 5:30 kickoff on the Saturday was between Brighton and Watford. What Brighton sort of surprising, but at the end of the day, they're not really faced anyone sort of like, no disrespect, they've not really faced sort of anyone really good. But obviously they got that big win last week against Burnley away as well. And Burnley are a very hard team to beat at home, as some of the big teams have found out over the last few years. And obviously they come out 2-0 winners. So yeah, they're sort of doing really well. And I mean, they were expected probably to beat Watford. No disrespect to Watford, but Watford had a great result obviously last week against Aston Villa. I'm thinking, could they do a repeat performance? But Brian put in a professional performance, I suppose, and come out 2-0 winners. So there we go. So going into Sunday's games, we had 3 games in total. So we had 2 o'clock kickoffs and a 4:30 kickoff. The first 2 o'clock kickoff was Southampton v Manchester United. Now, I suppose, like I say, it was, obviously with Man United, with all the signings they got, Sancho and Varane, and obviously they're still, I think, trying to go for more players, which, sort of rumour has it they're going for Ruben Neves from Wolves, from what I've heard, so, which is a bit of an interesting one. But anyway, so, and the score was 1-1, which was sort of a surprise, I suppose. Really, you look more into it. I mean, Manchester obviously probably one of the contenders this year to win the Premier League. I mean, I think I don't know. I think they'll come second or third, like I said. But we shall see what happens. But yeah, so no disrespect to Southampton. They put in a good performance and got the draw. Stopped Man United from winning. A lot of Man United fans questioned the tactics of Solskjaer, the manager of Man United. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, you can't win them all, as they say. There's always going to be that 1 or 2 games where you're not going to really pick up any points. And that's where it sort of ended, really. So it finished 1-1. So going into the other 2 o'clock game, Wolverhampton Wanderers v Tottenham Hotspur. So the game finished 0-1 to Tottenham, obviously. Tottenham winning a 1-0 again, with Dele Alli with the penalty, I do believe. And so looking sort of doing a steady sort of job. Santos doing a steady job, obviously returning to Molineux. And obviously, like I say, it's going to be a tricky game for Tottenham, and it sort of turned out to be, but they ended up coming out with just a win in the end, just about. Wolverhampton Wanderers, what can you say? I mean, Adama Traore, he's just a very good player to watch, but like I say, the problem is the end product. He just can't put that ball in the box, and questions around him are going around. Well, questions are going around his head again. Basically, what's going on with him? But anyway, so Tottenham win 1-0. It's sort of a bit of a mixed sort of reset. Well, so I think there was more cheers than boos for Santos, who's now the Tottenham manager, obviously former Wolverhampton Wanderers manager. But he deserves to get a lot of credit, obviously, what he's done, So fair play to the bloke, brought him up and everything, and play some decent football. So going into the 4:30 kickoff was probably the big game of the weekend. Arsenal v Chelsea. Well, not so much a big game. It's just a big game as in because it's 2 London teams and the 2 big London teams. Well, one of them was anyway. So Arsenal v Chelsea was the game at 4:30, like I said. And the game finished 0-2, Chelsea winning. Lukaku on the score sheet. No surprises there on his debut, and scores a goal. I can't remember who scored the other goal. I think it was Trying to think now, it's one of the right backs. James, I think it was. I can't remember. Not James. I'm thinking of somebody else here. Do apologise, people. But anyway, a win's a win. So, yeah, so 0-2. Arsenal looking seriously in deep trouble. But like I say, I mean, to be fair to Arsenal, the fixtures have not been kind to them. Well, apart from Brentford last week, no disrespect to Brentford, they should be beating Brentford. And obviously losing to Chelsea. No, just at the end of the day, there's no shame losing to Chelsea, because Chelsea, with the signing that they made and the players that they got, so looking very, very, very good indeed. So Chelsea contender favourites. Why not? Why not? They're going to be up there. They're going to be up there. So that is that. But like I say, is this the end? Is this the end of Arteta? Where are we going already? Like I said earlier, it's not going to get any easier for Arsenal, because they've got Manchester City next game, I think. So just when it gets harder, just when it couldn't get any harder, it does. After Manchester City's 5-0 rampage. Anyway, so going into last night's game, the 8 o'clock kickoff, and it is my beloved Leicester City taking on West Ham at I think it's the Olympic Stadium. I think the ground's called. Oh, good God. Anyway, I won't waffle on for too long about this. Not the best of performances from Leicester City. No disrespect to West Ham, they won. They got the job done. I didn't really sort of see much of it. I mean, sort of listened to a bit of it, and sort of a bit of highlights. And West Ham fully deserved winners in my eyes. West Ham wanted it more. Leicester City just not doing enough. I don't like to make excuses, but Leicester City are in deep trouble already with injuries, especially with defenders, centre-backs wise. I think in the actual whole squad of centre-backs, I think they've only actually got 2 out-and-out centre-backs, which is Sancho and oh God, I can't think. It's like Benkovic, I think it is, and he doesn't even get a play. So West Ham winning 4-1 in the end. Obviously Perez being sent off as well. Bit of a silly challenge, didn't need to be done. Could have been an ankle breaker. It was definitely a red card. No excuses about that. I'm never, if you see something, you see something, and it's definitely wrong. You're gonna sort of call it out, and it's, whether it's my team or a team I don't like it, the decision's right, and it was right. So fair play to the ref. Obviously going to the camera and sort of seeing it did look nasty. I think if you put more pressure on Perez, I think, well, that would have been goodbye to the chap's ankle. I think it was 4 nails, I think it was. So anyway, so yeah, West Ham coming out 4-1 winners. Apparently they're sort of joint top at I think they're sort of second at the moment, I think, along with Chelsea. And as I say, the second week running with West Ham banging 4 goals in, so fair play to them. But like I say, for Leicester, in trouble, sort of. I know it's only 2 games in. We're gonna lose some games, but signings are still needed at the King Power Stadium. Still need another winger for me, another centre back as well. Obviously, Vestergaard injured in training. So, but anyway, so let's stop talking about Leicester City, because it's not just about Leicester City in this video. It's about all the other teams as well. So, as for shock performance and stand-up performance, no disrespect to who they are. I mean, probably the shock performance for me was probably Southampton, because Man United obviously went there to expect to win. But I sort of expected Man United to win quite comfortably, like 3-4-1, something like that. Proved me wrong, so good on Southampton. And yeah, fair play to them. Fair play to them. And like I say, Solskjaer's got some sort of like work to do, but I'm sure he bounced back. It's Manchester United, isn't it? Really, unbelievable side. So probably the standout performance of the second set of games of over the last 3 days was probably, I'm after gonna say it, because it's definitely West Ham. I think they were probably, I mean, I could have gone probably with Chelsea. I could have probably gone with Manchester City. But no disrespect. I mean, Manchester City were playing Norwich. Like I say, no disrespect to Norwich. Then they're not going to compete against Manchester City with the quality they got. So that's why I don't sort of put them as probably the standout performances. And like I say, West Ham for me, probably stand-up performance, obviously, because, you know, Leicester City with aspirations this year of trying to get the crack into the top four, even though I have got them down as, I think, like 5th or 6th this year. So yeah, stand-up performance for me, West Ham United. So there we go. So that is done, ladies and gents, and like I say, that is all done. Another sort of week's football gone. Like I say, shocks and surprises and some big good performances from certain teams, big games. And looking forward again to, this sort of weekend of more sort of football going on. And I'll catch you then. So like I say, just before I go, folks, if you ever find yourself wanting to sort of have a chat about football, or sort of you want to give me your thoughts and comments and stuff on YouTube, go to my channel. The name is Fatboy/Si. Give me your, like I say, thoughts and comments. Smash the like button. Subscribe to my channel, and I'd be greatly appreciated if you could. And like I say, give me your thoughts on what your shock performance was, what your stand-up performance was, and where do you think all the teams are going to lie? Where do you think the team surprising you? What's going to happen next? So I will be back again after the third set of games are finished. I think it's after this weekend, I think. And I shall catch you then. So, as always, thanks you all. Take care and stay safe. And I shall speak to you again soon. So, as always, I shall see you then. Bye-bye, everyone.